Hey guys, welcome to Sketch A Day. I'm Spencer and I'm really excited. Last week I reviewed some super cheap markers and today I'm going to review some more super cheap markers because I've been at this for a minute and I'm just really impressed with how the marker game has stepped up. But before we begin, I want you to hit that subscribe button and turn on alerts. Thank you so much for being here and being a fan. If you want to catch me live, you'll need to have those alerts on, so be sure to do that. This week I've released my new Procreate brushes. If you don't know, Procreate's an app on the iPad. Go check it out. It's awesome for drawing. I'll be dropping some more videos with Procreate and my brushes coming soon, but definitely check it out. And for you guys, I'm going to offer you a special discount. So check out the link below. And if you're a Patreon, much thanks for being a part of all of this. Okay, so I have the box here. It's right here. And we're going to get started by opening it up. Oh, whoa! So I got the Ohuhu Brush. Oh my goodness. So I got the 120 markers set. Piano on this side, copic on this side. So far, appearance-wise, they look about the same. Now, one of the things that's confusing is every marker brand has their own color system. So the Ohuhus seem to have a different system. I even have something called green gray. Let's grab this red. I got a chisel tip on one side. The barrel of the marker is round and it has this little tab. I think it keeps it from rolling off the table, so that's kind of nice. With copic markers, they use kind of an oblong shape or square depending on the type of marker. And with these Piano markers, they kind of went the copic classic route where they kind of have a similar profile to them. I know some of you have bought the Piano markers, so I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And on the other side, we have a nice brush tip, something that the Piano markers do not have. I bought these markers for $100 on Amazon. Yes, of my own money. They are not paying me to do this. I'm doing this because I love you guys and I love drawing. So 120 markers, $400, a little bit more expensive than the Piano or Biennial markers that I bought before, but I figured if I'm gonna have some daily markers, I draw a ton, totally worth it, especially at less than $1 per marker. Pretty incredible. Now I'm gonna set these to the side because we're gonna do a little bit more of a comparison. It is cool that it comes with a case, so if you guys like to travel with your markers, you can use this case that it comes with. I like to keep my markers in these containers because, well, I'll tell you that in another video. Of course, you're not here, so you can't exactly feel how these markers feel. But so far, the tip of the marker seems to be fairly crisp. All right, so we have Ohuhu, Copic Sketch, Copic Classic, Piano or Biennial, Chartpak, and Copic Wide. Now, if it matters to you, working quickly and trying to cover a lot of area, I do like my Copic Classic, the width. I'm talking about the width of the marker stroke itself. Copic Sketch is a little bit more narrow, but it does have a brush as well. The Ohuhu has a brush as well. And I'm finding, just visually examining these, I'm not gonna break out my ruler and measure, but the widest of the bunch, obviously, the Copic Wide. Then we have the Chartpak. The Piano and Ohuhu seem comparable in the width or coverage. The Sketch comes in at the narrowest, and the Classic is a bit more than the Ohuhu and the Piano. Okay, so if I were to rate these by the width, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if coverage matters, there's a little bit of information on how much area is covered by these markers if you're going to be doing some rendering and you want to work quickly. Now, like I said, the tip seems to be fairly crisp, as I would expect from a brand new marker. So like I mentioned, it does come with a brush tip, and brush tips are nice if you're trying to do more loose sketches. So let's do a quick evaluation here. I'm going to see how thin of a line I can get. Okay, just by going ever so lightly on the page, and then let's see how thick we can get as well, and maybe something in between. And I'll try and do the same with a Copic brush marker as well. And based on the feel of the tip, I will say they're pretty comparable. The Bianyo, or sorry, the Ohuhu tip feels stiffer. I'm not sure if that's just due to the fact that it's a brand new marker or if it's due to the fact that the brush itself is different. I would probably have to crack one of these open and ruin the tip. And I love these markers too much. I don't want to do that. So at least to my copics, I could with one of these. In any case, I feel as though they're somewhat comparable. And so let's move ahead to testing a few other things and maybe doing just a quick sketch experiment. If you saw my video on chartpaks, you may have recalled me doing a test with the lines created by different pens and tools and how that responds to the markers. So we're going to do that again. Let's take a Copic marker. I'm going to use just a classic Copic. The ink is alcohol based. So we have, I forgot to call that out. On the Copic, I'll just put an A. Alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. Chartpak has what's called a xylene based ink. More on that in my chartpak review video. Check it out. Search it on the channel. You can find it super easy. But I'll try and put a link in the description to that video as well. Now, let's start with the Copic marker. On the top line, we have a Papermate Flair pen. Looks like this is a little bit showing through a little bit too much. So the top, we have a Papermate Flair, Prismacolor pencil, ballpoint pen, specifically a Bic Cristal pen, and a Sharpie. So here we go. I'm just going to do a couple strokes back and forth, and we'll see what happens. All right, now let's do the Bianyo. Okay, just like this. All right, and I'm gonna do this Ohuhu pen. Let's pick a fun color. How about a blue? Or some sort of blue-green. Okay, and I'm gonna test the chisel tip on this Ohuhu. And now let's test a chartpak. Looks like I'm familiar with the Copic pen, and the three alcohol-based pens are behaving somewhat as expected. Okay, so with the pencil, we have a little smudge on these markers. With the ballpoint, we also have a little bit of smudge. Now, depending on the color of the marker, in this case blue, pink, orange, you may have a different response or flow with the marker interacting with that ballpoint pen, as well as the brand of ballpoint pen. So like I said, this is a Bic Cristal. And the Papermate Flair, which is why I use these pens, did not bleed at all. The pencil is, you're literally putting the material on the paper that the tip of the pencil is made from. So no surprise here, it did smudge. The ballpoint pen, for whatever reason, maybe it's the alcohol or the water in the alcohol-based ink, because it's not 100% alcohol. Maybe that's what's causing the smudge. I'm not sure, but if you're a chemist and watching this video, definitely let me know. And the chartpak, this is why some people love them, is that it did not smudge on the ballpoint. So I'm gonna give the chartpak a check here. We're gonna fail all of these. Check on the Papermate Flair. And as far as the Sharpie goes, we have a check on the chartpak. And I'm just gonna put a tiny check for each of these, mostly because this is no consistent rating system, but there's a slight smudge with the Sharpie. So if you're drawing with a Sharpie and using marker, definitely be careful. But it seems the chartpak is the most versatile of the bunch. However, given the price of these two markers, so the Bianyo actually comes in at about 50 cents per marker. The Ohuhu, I would say it's less than, let's see, is that less than? Yes, less than $1 per marker. Copics are going to run you $6 to $8, usually on the higher end of that. And chartpaks I've seen as low as $1.50 if they're on sale to $3.50. So depending on where you buy them. So that should give you an idea of the price, not B, price of these markers. So if you're looking to invest some money, now remember the set I bought was $120 for $99. Okay, so less than $1. Divide 99 by 120 and there's your answer. Okay, let's try and do something somewhat real here. I did this quick geometric form sketch, and I'm going to take these Ohuhu markers and just try and shade in the shape. So I'll start with the reds, and I always start with my lightest lights, so we'll go do that. Super light. I'm going to shade in the top with the lightest red as well. Kind of create a gradient toward the back, something like that. Onto this other red. This is a red 5. I'm actually wondering about the blending here, so I'm going to try and blend into the red 23. That's actually pretty good. So we were able to blend from this red 5 to the red 23 just fine. Whenever I'm shading something in, I tend to like to shade in the boundary. I'll blend down from the top. All right. Just like this. And wow, I'm actually fairly impressed so far. Again, for being less than $1 per marker, I think these seem pretty decent. When I was in school, the cheap markers were Prismacolors, so it's been interesting to see, as I mentioned, the game just changed so much. All right, on to the gray. I'm going to do the cylinder here in gray, and I'm using a Cool Gray 2. Cool Gray 2, let's start with our shadow core. So work that shadow core. Cylinders are a little trickier. And I probably should do a full tutorial on this topic, but for now, let's keep it Gucci. Is that what the kids are saying these days? We'll go a step darker as well. Let's see how these two blend. I try to use my markers in steps of 2 where possible, so 2, 4, 6 as a value shift. All right. So the grays don't blend as well for some reason as my color here did. I'm super happy with the color. Again, for being a very cheap marker, I would say so far it's okay. Not, at least with the grays, I'm kind of disappointed with these grays so far. I just used the brush tip just to touch up there so we could see what that looks like. And I've got a blue 2, 6, 8, and 4. 8 is the lightest, so I'm going to start with 8. Again, always test your markers if you are drawing, because you may not know what you're getting just based on that color code, but I suspect that with continued use, you'll kind of develop your own system and know what works. But in my case, as these are not markers that I would necessarily use for full renderings for a client, I'm okay not memorizing everything. Just shading in this shadow core, just like that. Now let's do the cone. All right, this yellow actually gets pretty dark. I may just be able to get away with 2 markers. Every marker brand is a little different, so make that a little darker. It's a little bit more blending here. And then let's go 1 step darker on this shadow core, like so, and blend back with the yellow red toward the center. But again, the grays are pretty, I'm just gonna say they're pretty terrible. And now shade across, like so. Just like that. All right. The blending on the grays does not seem to be up to my expectations. I would say pretty decent on the sketch ability of these markers. If I were in a pinch, I think I could rely on them. Again, given the price point, I think they're a decent alternative to Copic markers if you're interested. However, I will stick with my copics for my professional work, but I'll happily use these as a daily driver or a travel marker, especially because you have this awesome case and all the markers are in it already, shipped to you. You don't have to go get anything else like me, because I'm crazy and obsessive about how I store my markers. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this was informative. If you have any additional questions, definitely leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer them. You can check out our Discord as well if you want to be a part of our live chats. Link should be in the description. Definitely hit subscribe, turn on alerts, and I'm on the socials. I am at sketchaday.com. Come say hi, give me a follow, because I post other things there that you may not see here on the YouTube channel. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Sketchaday. Baby scissors, do 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 do. Baby scissors, do 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 do. Baby scissors, do 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 do. Baby scissors.